Hey guys, came from 15, joined by my Uncle Daryl. We are back with some more NFL predictions videos for you guys going into obviously the Christmas holiday. So I guess Merry Christmas to all. Hopefully you guys have a safe Christmas. We will have Christmas Day games, but that will be next week. But I don't know if we'll be able to get in a predictions video by then because of the holiday festivities. But
I'm pretty sure we can find some time for that.
I'll be
Although I'm
off.
kind of ticked off that Netflix is not showing the WWE here in Germany. I just
Really?
found that out. Man, that just really ruined my day.
So you are you gonna have to like get like some streaming thing or something?
I'm gonna have to find some kind of way to. I don't who I
I would think they would do make it Netflix worldwide globally for people to watch
mm-mm.
that.
From what I understand, they're only showing it US, Canada, and Latin America. They're not.
But
It's
they
not here.
unless
It's
there's
not.
like pushback, they got to change that.
Oh yeah, the Germans. It's a little bit. They do things a little bit differently here. So all I can do right now is just hope they change their mind, and maybe Netflix decides to add some zeros, which will probably affect my monthly fee. But I don't care, man. I want the WWE.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get into these week 16 slated games with only two more weeks. Well, three more weeks, but going into after this week, two more weeks left in the season. Last night was the Thursday night game, the Broncos versus the Chargers. The Broncos were up pretty big. I wasn't watching the game, but then the Chargers behind Justin Herbert came all the way back and upset the Broncos, thus sweeping the Broncos. And even though they have the same record, the Chargers are now second place. And because of it, um, the Chargers now have a 98% chance to make the playoffs. Per ESPN analytics, they can clinch a spot early as Sunday should the Colts versus the Titans and the Dolphins versus the 49ers both lose. Now, as for the Broncos' playoff chances, it fell from 93% to 87% with the loss. The Broncos have to go to the Bengals and host the Chiefs in their final two games.
Mm. Those are going to be tough because one, Burrow is back healthy, or at least according to the Cincinnati Bengals injury report, and they are still not mathematically out of it. So as long as that dude is playing, and I'm speaking about Joe Burrow, uh, Denver has a legitimate shot at missing the playoffs with those two games left.
Yeah.
And yeah, that,
Uh,
that was a bad loss.
yep.
That was a bad loss.
In terms of the Cincinnati Bengals to make the playoffs, they need to win. They basically need to win their last three games, which is the
They got to win that.
Browns, Broncos,
Hmm.
and Steelers. Broncos have to lose the last two games of the Bengals and Chiefs. Now, the reason why the Chiefs game could be interesting is if the Chiefs take care of business the next 2 weeks, they can literally rest in week 18 because they'll clinch the number one seed and they'll get that bye week. And they're probably not going to play any
Correct.
starters in week 18. And then another thing is Colts lose once and the Dolphins lose once. The reason they need the Colts and the Dolphins to lose at least one game is all three currently are 6-8, and the Bengals have the worst conference record of that trio.
Correct.
So,
So basically, in a nutshell, the Bengals have got to win out.
yep.
I mean, they got to win out, but at the same time, they have the offense in which to do so. I think they'll beat Cleveland. I don't know where we're starting with our picks, but I will pick Cincinnati over Cleveland for sure. But primarily because I mean Jameis Winston, I don't think it doesn't look like he
I
may
don't think they're.
be.
I think he's benched. I think they're starting
Yeah,
Dorian Thompson Robinson.
they're going with Robinson this week because I mean, uh,
They
what
had a chance
is
to beat. They had a chance to beat the Chiefs. He kept throwing the
he kept
interceptions.
throwing the ball away. He kept throwing the ball away. I mean, but that's been Jameis's history. So anyway, I will go with Cincinnati to beat Cleveland. Cincinnati can beat Denver. I don't care where they're playing. Cincinnati can beat Denver. Question is going to be that last game against Pittsburgh.
Yep.
It depends on where Pittsburgh is as far as the hierarchy. Because I got to admit, they got Baltimore. Pittsburgh, I'm speaking about. They've got Baltimore, and I think this Baltimore's at home. And I do honestly believe that I think Baltimore is going to get Pittsburgh this week. So that's going to be a really good game. So Cincinnati basically is going to have to win out. And I think that last game that they're going to face against Pittsburgh is going to be a doozy.
Yeah. So, we actually have games starting tomorrow. I don't know why
Yes.
they wanted to put two NFL games on the day where it's college football playoff time, but okay, let's take away from
Well, that's
college
why
football.
they want to steal some of those ratings.
Yeah,
Now, granted,
just like how
I
they're
don't know
doing.
when these games were scheduled,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure the dates for the new college football playoff were set way in advance as well too.
Yeah.
So, and from where I sit, from what I've been looking at, I think just the NFL wants to tag along and get something and steal some of those ratings because they know people are going to be watching television.
Yeah, just like next week with the fact that NBA viewership is at an all-time low. NFL like, "Oh yeah, we'll take all your viewers from you guys."
Oh yeah,
Albeit we'll
yeah,
be on
yeah.
Netflix.
They'll easily take it from the NBA. I mean, you
Of
got teams that
course.
are shooting 63-point shots a game. I mean, it's just ridiculous how they're letting, between all the 3-point shots and all the load management, the NBA is just not watchable.
Yeah, that might have to be a video for another day where we
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
NBA viewership and why it's
yeah.
down.
And we haven't talked about the NBA in a while, so that's probably a long time coming.
Yeah. So we
Yeah,
got
so that's
Saturday
because
games.
you're a Clippers fan.
Yeah, yeah. We won yesterday, so I had to wear it. I can't talk about
Yeah,
my
that's true.
Bears. I would be wearing a Bears jersey, but you know what? I'm gonna put the Clipper jersey on because I'm so sick of those guys from Chicago.
Well, you know what? Hey, my Alabama is not in the playoffs, but you know what? I'm still supporting. But the Bulls beat the Celtics. But again, let's get to the NFL. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I'll be doing double duty because Saturday's gonna be football and college football. Texans at
Yep.
Chiefs. Very critical game here. They said Andy Reid came out and said Patrick Mahomes, despite the fact that he was dang near limping at the end of the freaking game against the Browns, he will be playing this game. He was a full participant. I would not be shocked if they shot him up of drugs so he could just get through the pain. But this is again, it's a critical game the Chiefs got to get to continue to put pressure on the Bills to continue to try to win out. And realistically, the Chiefs got to win the
Hmm.
next two games. They lock up the number one seed. AFC's going through Kansas City yet again. Texans, they got to just,
Yes.
continue to win, even though it looks like they're basically going to win the division now that the Colts lost last week. But even then, you still want to get the highest possible seeding you can get. And that's kind of the thing there. So, in terms of who I'm going to go, I'm gonna go with the home team because Kansas City is tough to play in. Again, it's gonna be cold. It's a dome team coming into a cold atmosphere. Again, the Texans offense, they literally caked walked their way to beating whatever's left of the Miami Dolphins. They just beat them up. I
Yep.
watched that game. They absolutely dominated them from the jump. Albeit, I was disappointed that Mixon didn't get more, and I think he'll struggle with and I think he's also a little bit nicked up too. And that I think he'll struggle a bit. And the defensive line for the Chiefs, I think, is going to get after CJ Stroud because that offensive line is not good this year. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna go with the Chiefs, the home team. Now if the Chiefs had won Carson Wentz, I would have probably went the other direction. But the thing
Yeah.
is, how many hits can the Texans get on Mahomes to where he starts limping again and he may get hurt?
Yeah.
They can get to him and they can effectively get him out of the game because he gets hurt because the ankle. Because I don't think that ankle's 100%. Though it will be massively heavily taped. If the
Hmm.
Texans can get to him, can hit him hard, maybe you get him out of there, or maybe you just disrupt him and maybe make the injury thing. I do think he'll probably be stationary in the pocket. Realistically, the Chiefs' offensive line isn't that good either. So we'll see. But I'm going Chiefs still.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs as well too. Mahomes was diagnosed with a high ankle sprain. Now, what grade the high ankle sprain is, the Kansas City Chiefs basically aren't saying. Um, Mahomes did early in the week. He pretty much politicked to say he can start, but you know what? Regardless of whether he plays or whether he didn't, I still would go Chiefs primarily because of two reasons. One, Steve Spagnuolo, and two, Andy Reid. These are the best coach. The Chiefs is probably the most well-coached team in the league. They have practically been getting away with all sorts of mistakes, but because of those two right there, they know how to dial it up at the right time when necessary to come up with these W's. Albeit the only time they haven't done it is against the Bills. So they got to do what's necessary to keep up with the Bills. And I honestly think Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo will dial up just enough plays to be able to win this week. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs as well.
Yeah. I wish I started their defense last week in my playoff matchup. They had 22 points on fantasy. I didn't have them. They were on the free agent market.
Honestly, I wouldn't have a problem with the Bears looking at Steve Spagnuolo for their head coach. I wouldn't have a problem with it, although he's done it once before, and he's already said that he's not interested in the head coaching positions. I wouldn't be. It wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad to it, but what is that going to do?
No, I mean, at least you'll have a competent person at the top that can be able to build a staff. That's just my point. But again, I digress. We need to get these picks going. So let's video for another day.
Yep. And then the next game is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. Steelers got the best of the Ravens in the first matchup. But it's critical thing because this could also be a whole thing for the division as well with the latter half or with the last two games remaining. Because the Steelers are 10-4 and the Ravens are 9-5, and the Ravens do pull out the game, both teams will be 10-5. I'm going into next week. Steelers had a lackadaisical, like they hung it best they could in the first half against the Eagles, and then the Eagles just pulled away later on. They didn't really get off to a good start anyways in that game. And then the Ravens, obviously, they played whatever's left of the freaking New York Giants because the Giants are just tanking, so they dominated the Giants. Even though Lamar Jackson is 1-4 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, shockingly enough, I found this out. He never played the Steelers at home in his career, which is pretty shocking to say the least. But I'll go with the Ravens winning this
That's
game.
an interesting stat.
Yeah, I was just watching the facility while I was getting my hair cut.
That's an interesting stat.
Yeah, I think I was listening to the facility show on FS1 as I'm getting my haircut, and they say, yeah, he's never played Pittsburgh, at home ever before. So, because he's always been hurt.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
And you're going with Baltimore?
Yeah, I think they're more on fire. I think this game's gonna go to the wire because obviously AFC North battles are gonna go to the wire. I think it's gonna be one big play that happens that will win the game. I don't know who it is. Now, the only wild card factor is it might be Justin Tucker because he hasn't been reliable as of late this year. So, we'll see. I'm going Ravens.
I'm gonna go Ravens as well too. Especially after watching the way the Ravens passed the ball against the Giants and how the Eagles were so easily, as long as you can protect from the Steelers pass rush, the secondary showed that they're highly vulnerable. And I gotta admit, the Baltimore's passing game is not on the same lines of the Eagles, mind you, but the Eagles showed that they pretty much they did whatever the heck they wanted in the passing game against the Steelers. They controlled TJ Watt, especially in the second half. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens as well. Pittsburgh, they won't have Pickens again. And they, for the most part, outside of Freiermuth, Wilson's got no targets. So, I'm gonna go with the Ravens. Not in the blowout. I'm obviously these games are usually close games, but and you are right. I think the main difference is going to be Justin Tucker.
Who would have thought we would be saying that? Shockingly enough, all these four teams are gonna be playing next week on Christmas Day. That's why they're playing Saturday.
Yep.
That's brutal. They gotta play on Saturday and they gotta turn around and
play. That's also the reason why they came up with that hard knocks for the AFC, the AFC North, because again, all of them are gonna be playing on the big day.
Yeah. Sunday. Sunday slate of games. Let's start off and get the freaking trash out the way. The Detroit Lions travel to Chicago despite all the injuries
Well,
they got right now to play the lowly Chicago Bears, who we got DJ Moore over here talking about he more worried about vacation. I don't like that comment. I understand the point and the reason why he said that, but my man, you're already telling the reporters in Chicago, you and the rest of the team didn't chuck out if you're already talking about vacation. You want to go to Cancun? Then go to Cancun right now. We don't need you then. That's what I would tell him. I would bring him into my office and be like, "Oh, you're worried about your vacation? All right, you can go on vacation. You're suspended for the next 3 weeks. Enjoy it." Go take your family to Cancun, enjoy it. That's what I would do if I was the coach, if I was Thomas Brown. Since we want to talk about vacation up in here. At least let's try to go win a game before we talk about vacation. Anyways,
I
um,
agree. I I totally agree.
Detroit's gonna come in here. I don't care about the injuries. David Montgomery, they said that I personally think he if I were him, I'd be like, shut it down because you try to come back, somebody's gonna give a hit to the kneecap and you're gonna blow your knee out because
Yeah.
he tore an MCL. You got the specialist done. They said you'll be good to play. I was telling somebody at work yesterday. I'm like, all it takes is one blow to the knee, and your knee will be blown out. That ACL could be gone. That you already got a damaged MCL. Why risk it? I understand you want to play and try to get a chance to win a Super Bowl. But at the same time, you got to also worry about your health because if you say in the playoffs you do come back, gets that hit and blows his knee out, well, you're basically going to be gone for next year too. But that's just me. Aleem McNeil, one of their top defensive linemen, he's out for the season with a torn ACL. The Lions are just dropping like flies. I think with the losses that the Lions defense had, and you saw the effect it had clearly when the Bills what came up in there and basically whipped their tails on defense, you could just legitimately see like, well, they could potentially still get to maybe the Super Bowl, but they're compromised. I'm not gonna say they're gonna be a first round exit, but they got to start winning the last few games. Otherwise, either the Vikings or the Eagles are going to get that first seed and they're going to get the home field. And I would not be shocked if the Lions do lose home field because of the fact that defensive losses are just, it's going to be too hard to overcome. You already lost Aiden Hutchinson. And then I forgot to mention they lost Carlton Davis. He's done for the season with a broken jaw.
Yep. Yep.
Um, too many. The Lions are still talented. They're talented on offense, but they're losing too many bodies on defense. And the fact that I saw them get absolutely thrashed by the Bills, and Josh Allen obviously is great, but at some point, like it's too much to overcome. I think at least there'll probably be maybe a divisional round or even an NFC championship round exit, falling just short. But the Lions are going to come in here. I don't think they're going to beat us like hell. They'll probably beat us by 2 scores. But who knows? If the Bears pull it off, okay, I'll be happy. That'll be your nice little Super Bowl consolation win for the season. Making you feel good. Maybe you put a nice little show on for Ben Johnson, so you can lure him over to get over here and hopefully try to fix everything and fix your dang offense. But whatever. We'll see. I think the Lions are going to win. If the Bears somehow pull it off, I'm just going to say they're going to find within themselves to find a way to win. And then also, too, it's probably going to be cold in Chicago. And again, the Lions are a dome team. But I'm going with the Lions to beat the Bears.
I'm going with the Lions to beat the Bears also. However, the Lions are in trouble because they're limping into the playoffs. Whereas Minnesota's doing well, Green Bay is doing well. Philadelphia, they still haven't lost. What are they on? 10, 11 game winning streak?
Yeah.
I mean, and so Tampa Bay
The
is
Rams, you got to
playing
watch out for the
well.
Rams, too.
Got to watch out for the Rams. So, I mean, it's whereas, Detroit is literally limping into the playoffs. They are just losing a lot of bodies. So, I would hope that Montgomery would sit and because their playoff spot is assured, but they should want to make sure that they are 100% healthy because obviously they got bigger fish to fry. So I mean, they're already in. They are 12-2?
12-2 right now. They're first place in NFC North.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I get it. You want that home field advantage, but I think you can do that with, Jahmyr Gibbs and the other running backs that's on their team. So, um, yeah, but for this week, man, come on, man. We've already talked about it. The Bears have been done for weeks, So, and now there's all this talk of vacation and infighting, and Thomas Brown literally doesn't look like head coaching material. So. Bears are done. Detroit should win this game, which will probably go a long ways to them keeping that number one.
Yeah. Next game up, the Rams at the Jets. Shockingly, the Jets actually got a win, but albeit it was against Mac Jones and the Jaguars, which they almost
Oh,
won
I
that
was
game.
about to say, come on now, and they struggled to get that one,
Yeah.
but not this week. No, not this
Yeah,
week.
the Rams are
And
gonna probably come in here and
mm,
blow them out. Their offense is playing really dang good, and their defense,
mhm.
honestly, has been surprising for me of how good they've been playing as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the Jets will keep it close they can, and also too, this is how I always think that the Bears are dysfunctional, but the Jets are even more dysfunctional than I thought they were. Legitimately, their owner didn't want to go get. I forgot what player they didn't want to go get because his Madden rating was too low. I'm like, what? I'm like, good God. I forgot what player it was. It was a
oh
really good player, but he said,
yeah.
"Yeah, we ain't trading for him because his Madden rating is too low." That's the big thing
Oh
coming out
boy.
of this year.
So now the geeks at EA Sports, um, they got better GM chops than the current management of the New York Jets. Okay. All right. Yeah. For me, just based on that, Rams should win this game.
Yeah. Again, we as Bear fans talk about our dysfunctional organization, how rotten it is from top down. I look at teams like the Jets, the Giants, the Browns. You can name them. They're all dysfunctional. Sometimes you
Yeah.
can't overcome that dysfunction. You just have to have hope they do. Now, in the case of the
Yep.
Giants, in some cases they have. It's just been as of late. They've been dysfunctional.
Yeah. Yeah. But at least the Giants are competitive from week to week to week to week.
They weren't competitive last week.
They'll bring, well, I mean, they were playing the Baltimore Ravens. So that was just an ass whooping waiting to happen anyway. They probably saw that schedule and just looked and said, okay, yeah, let's pick out our ass whoopings. Okay. Week 15, Baltimore. We're gonna get our ass whooped that week. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing.
yeah.
Next
Well,
game. Eagles at the Commanders.
why are you smiling? The Eagles are still gonna win.
Yeah, the Eagles, I think, are going to beat them.
I mean, I think the more so the question for me is if Barkley is healthy. He took a nice shot last week from Minkah Fitzpatrick, Roll Tide. He took a nice one, and
I
it
didn't
pretty
know.
much limited yeah, it was goal line, and Minka came around, and he went a nice tackle on the legs, but Barkley he was out for the majority of that first half, and I don't think he was right the entire game. Obviously, he came back in the second half, but that game was won not on the legs of Barkley, but that game was won on the arm of Jalen Hurts. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
they got the Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown connection going and shut everybody up. And then they had beat.
No. Yeah, that whole cannon fodder for the whole AJ talking about the passing game needs work, and even though they had one, and yeah, all of that stuff. That was just
That was just unnecessary drama that didn't need to happen.
again, we talked about it, rat poison from the media.
Yeah,
That's all that stuff is.
yeah.
But
I'm
I
going
think
Eagles.
Philadelphia. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going
The
Eagles.
defense of the Eagles.
Yeah, the
Defense
defense
of
is
the Eagles.
legit. Vic
Yeah.
Fangio's reverted the clock, and now he's 2018 Vic Fangio again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the Commanders, the reason why I won't pick them is they almost lost this. They legitimately almost blew the game to the Saints, even though it was in the Superdome. That was without Alvin Kamara because he ended up leaving later in the game. And then two, they
Yeah.
were beating up Jake Hayner. Then they let Spencer Rattler get up in there, and Spencer Rattler almost came back on them. Now, if the Saints had
Yep.
just not went for two and just kicked a field goal, but they're tanking, so of course they're more than likely going to go for two and say like, well, if we lose, we lose, but if we win, we win. Whatever.
Yeah. Yep. And I also told you that if David Carr had a played, I would have went for the Saints in that game.
Yeah.
But because he wasn't, I was like, with the way New Orleans has been playing with Carr recently, the defense is good. They are at home. They should, with Carr, they should beat the Commanders. But without him, they still almost won the game. So I just don't think that right now, currently, with the way the Commanders are playing, they won't beat the Eagles.
New York Giants at the Atlanta Falcons. The biggest thing coming out of this game is the fact that the Falcons basically benched Kirk Cousins to start Michael Penix. And again, my point, I will continue to say this over and over again. Why did you pay this clown all that money just to sit on the bench? And now you're going to probably have to cut him or trade him and eat all that dead money. I get it.
Talked about
I
this
get it.
before.
You want him to sit so he can learn. But at this point, I'd just rather throw him into the fire and not pay all that money. We could have all that money and other resources to maybe help Michael Penix out.
We talked about this at the beginning of the season. And I had said that, and this is not verbatim, but this is what, we were talking about. I said that it was a great idea to draft Michael Penix. And this is the reason why. Because Kirk Cousins is going to play like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
You pay Kirk Cousins and you want Kirk Cousins to play like Tom Brady, that ain't going to happen. He's a 36-year-old man coming off of an Achilles injury. Yes, eventually he is going to slow down and he is going to play poorly. It's his first year with Atlanta, so he's still got to get used to these weapons. And then on top of that, he has to get used to these weapons when teams are getting used to you guys. It was a great idea to hire Michael Penix. Now, whether he plays well or not is irrelevant. The fact remains that he's in there. He's in there right now because Cousins is playing bad. They planned for this. They planned for this eventuality. And there was a reason why, because they knew Kirk Cousins ain't that cat.
Yeah. I would have rather got a cheaper quarterback then, if you're going to go that route.
Raheem Morris is a really good football coach. He knew Kirk Cousins wasn't that cat. If he started playing like that cat, Raheem Morris would be like, okay, cool, don't worry about it. Mike, you just go ahead and you sit, you watch, you learn.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if he's playing. Now, there is one thing I do want to say this. I don't know if Kirk Cousins is benched because of the play in practice of Michael Penix, or is it just because he's turned the ball over like 8 or 9 times in so many games in his most recent games?
I think it's just the fact that Kirk Cousins has been bad the last few games.
He's just been bad. And now you got an opportunity for this rookie quarterback to come in against the Giants. Oh man, that's a great time to bring him in.
Yeah. And still they have a chance to get a playoff spot or even win the division, but Buccaneers,
correct,
they're looking to pull away.
Yep, absolutely.
We got 9:30 minutes left to go in the video.
Okay.
Next game, Cardinals at the Panthers. Panthers actually shocked me. They were favored, and they absolutely did not show up. Cowboys just handed them.
Yeah, I think we talked about that last week as well.
Yeah,
that Cooper Rush, once he finds his niche with CeeDee Lamb, is going to be CeeDee Lamb left, CeeDee Lamb right, CeeDee Lamb up the middle.
Yep,
and that's exactly what it was this game.
So yeah, Dowdle also torched their defense too, running the ball. So I like that.
Of
I'm
course.
gonna go Cardinals win the game.
Yeah, I'm going Cardinals too.
Yeah. Next up, we already somewhat talked about this, but Battle of Ohio, Browns at Bengals. I'm gonna go Cincinnati, especially the fact that Dorian Thompson-Robinson is starting for the Browns. Again, I think the Browns defense will give the Bengals problems, but I'll still give the Bengals to overcome their defense because their offense won't do nothing.
The Bengals can still score 30, whereas Cleveland won't be able to.
Yeah. Next week, next Titans at Colts. Colts.
Do you really care?
No.
I would prefer to see the Titans win just so Houston can win that division, and then we can just be rid ourselves of the AFC South.
Yeah. Only thing coming out of the Colts this week is the fact that against the Broncos, Jonathan Taylor did the stupidity thing of not making sure the ball is fully within the end zone as you're running in for a touchdown. And from what some Colts fans say, they say that cost them the game against the Broncos. But hey,
Well, I mean, just like I said before, who really cares?
yeah.
I just want to I would prefer to see the Colts lose just so we can move on. So I'm gonna pick the Titans.
Yeah. Vikings travel to Seattle to play the Seahawks. It looks like Geno Smith will actually play that game. How healthy will he be going to that game? I don't know, but regardless, Seattle, they had a pretty lackadaisical performance Sunday night at home against the Packers. I know one of my coworkers, he's a Seattle Seahawks fan. He absolutely hated that, and he already told me, it's like, this is it. That's it. Our season's done. He's already gave up.
Yeah, I pubbed up Seattle, and they just basically threw up a goose egg, making your pick because you only picked the Packers. You know what I mean? Actually, yeah, that's right. You picked Seattle too because you just
Yeah, I
hate the
picked Seattle.
Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I picked Seattle as well too. I'm not doing that this week. I think, um, I think Minnesota is another one of them teams on a roll. Um, from the NFC North, and they'll go in Seattle and they'll handle their business and beat them.
Yeah. I'll go Minnesota. I think it will be a close game because Minnesota likes to have these close games.
Yep. Yep.
Next up, we got 6 minutes on the dot. Patriots at Bills. Bills in a blowout.
Bills, Bills,
Yeah.
Bills. Josh Allen all by himself will outscore New England.
Yeah. Yeah. Jaguars at Raiders. Nobody cares. So I'm not
Do
I'm not
we?
even a select a pick. I'm not even a
I,
select a pick.
I
I'll
don't trust the
pass.
Raiders. I don't trust the Raiders. I really don't. I I'm not gonna do it. I'll go Jacksonville.
I'm not even selecting the pick. I don't care. This
Yeah,
is the pick
I
for
don't
who's gonna
really
get the
care either.
Colorado boy or the Colorado
Yep, the Bay
boys.
of Pigs. This is the Bay. This is the Bay of Pigs pick of the week.
Uh 49ers at the Dolphins. They got the same exact record.
We got about 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
I'll go Dolphins. They're at home.
Yeah, Dolphins. Did we talk about the Devondre Campbell stuff?
We mentioned it.
Oh yeah,
We
we did
talked
talk
about
about
it
it last week.
briefly,
We did talk about it
where
last week.
the 49ers are actually pleading to the league that he never gets to another team again based on his actions. But again, that kind of stuff for me is a video for another day.
It sounds like some sort of walk of shame type of thing where your teammates are side-eyeing you, probably ready to kick your butt when they get back to the locker room.
Yeah, yeah. But the whole pleading to the league to not let him in, just to kick him out altogether. I don't know, man. That's for me. That's going above and beyond. That to me. That's just low.
They probably want to humiliate him. They
I
probably
think
that's
if
probably why.
yeah. I mean, I understand that based on what Campbell did. But I'm like, dude, really? Just cut him, and if somebody wants to pick him up, he's their problem.
Yeah. Bucks Sunday Night Football is Buccaneers at Cowboys. I was right about the Buccaneers blowing out the Chargers.
Whatever, dude. So what? You were talking about the Chargers, not really a home game. But you know what? You know what? And this, I am not going with the Cowboys. I think last week was a gift that I would go with the Cowboys. I'll go with the Buccaneers because they are definitely playing better football.
Yeah, Buccaneers. The Monday night game is Saints at Packers. Joy. Packers.
Go
Sadly.
ahead, pick the Saints. Pick the
Packers.
Saints. Go ahead,
Sadly.
pick the Saints. I hate the Packers, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I hate the Packers, so I'm gonna go with the Saints. Go ahead.
I'm gonna choose the Packers because why would I choose the Saints on the road? A dome team in Green Bay, Wisconsin? Oh hell no.
I thought you just hated the Packers.
I hate the Packers, but even I'm sensible to choose a team that I know they
Oh,
can
okay.
beat.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Packers too.
So that's the thing. We got a good week of college football games. Um, Army got absolutely walloped by Navy last week. I was absolutely shocked.
We were blown away up here. Blown away.
Yeah. Who you going with tonight? Indiana or Notre Dame?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Tennessee, Ohio
Notre
State.
Dame. Ohio State and the ass whooping.
Really?
Yeah, Tennessee was talking a lot of crap this week, and I just don't think, going into Columbus is the week to do that.
I'll go Tennessee. Clemson at Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, I'll go Texas.
Texas.
SMU, Penn State.
I'm gonna go with the upset. I'll go with SMU.
SMU, yeah, I'm gonna go SMU. I can't trust James Franklin in Penn State.
Yeah, I can't do it either.
Yeah. Anyways, we're
Yeah.
gonna get out of here. You guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. We'll be back next week talking about NFL stuff, and then we'll be here Sunday probably talking about how bad the Bears played against the Lions, or maybe the Bears somehow beat the Lions. I don't know. I'm done. I'm
I
already
don't
the
know.
season to be over.
Yeah, I'm already giving the to the Bears already.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll be back next week and things like that. So till then, guys, catch you guys next video. See you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Christmas and things like that. Till then, guys, peace.